Next on the list is also another person who has known Charles for many years. It is Professor Richard Mahon. And did he do well in his class? Just kidding, guys. So, Mr. Mahon.
So Charles did very well. And like David, I think I want to describe three qualities that I saw in Charles, what is now 30 years and 6 months ago from when we met. And as Charles and I have stayed in touch over the years, I'm not going to out him by disclosing the precise date, but his birthday is in mid-July. And most years I remember, or rather I don't remember, my calendar reminds me to call and say, happy birthday, how are you doing? And the three qualities I want to describe that I saw in Charles as a young college student have been part of, I think, every conversation we've had since then. And the first quality I want to describe is boundless curiosity. So Charles was new to college, new to living in the far eastern California desert, not only on the other side of the Sierra Nevada mountains, but on the other side of the White Mountains, in a very small community, but a very small community surrounded by a world very unlike the world that he grew up in. And Charles was a young man of absolutely boundless curiosity, with questions about everything and keen interest in learning the answers to any of the many questions he might have. Hello to Steve, who I saw on the screen a little bit ago. One of the courses that Charles took from me that I think Steve was in as well was a course on religion in America. And so every Sunday, all the students in the class would get in 2 or 3 cars and drive from the college to Bishop, California, and visit different religious communities that are part of the American tradition. Catholics and Protestants, but also Quakers. And in the time over and the time back, Charles was just an endless fount of questions based in the reading as we drove to the churches to sit quietly and respectfully and learn about that faith traditions, beliefs, and practices. And then on the way back, the questions continued. What did it mean when they said this? And why did they do that? And that I want to segue into the second quality I have seen in Charles for 30 plus years. And that's absolutely consistent respect for all others, regardless of whether or not their background, experience, or beliefs were similar to his or were not. So all of you know that we live in times that are described as hyper-partisan, and the challenge that many people find in respecting others who are not like themselves has just gotten greater and greater. But even 30 years ago, Charles was somebody who could hear beliefs and practices that were very, very different from his own and simply bypass any element of being judgmental and simply say, it's very interesting that you believe that. What is it, if this is what you believe, what does it look like in practice? Help me understand and empathize with the person you are and the way that you believe. And certainly in political life, to be able to interact with all constituents, regardless of their other beliefs and other practices, to listen to the concerns that they have in terms of city policy and practice and give them a full hearing and try and solve their problems is what every city needs. And that allows me to then bridge to the third and final quality that David described a little bit as well. Deep Springs is an institution with a staff that you can count on one hand. Everything that is done to keep the college working is done overwhelmingly by the students. If the plumbing breaks, the students don't call a plumber. They figure out how plumbing works and how to fix it. And so in those early months when I first was meeting Charles, he was somebody who was always willing to take off the nicer shirt or the nicer pants, although that's a little bit of exaggeration. In Deep Springs, there isn't very much in the way of nicer shirts or nicer pants, but to roll up his sleeves and say, this toilet's not working. How do you fix a toilet? Or the lights went out. Where are the circuit breakers? He's always been somebody who was happy to step forward and to solve a problem. And if you put those things together, somebody who solves problems without concern about the beliefs or practices, the person who he's solving problems for, and curiosity and an endless willingness to listen and to learn from the beliefs and practices of others. If ever there were an era in American politics when those qualities are necessary at the municipal, at the county, at the state, at all levels of government and leadership, this is such a time. So Charles, I wish you the best of luck, and I will be haunting the website to see what I can do to provide my ongoing support.
Thank you, Professor Mahon.